Today on the grid, we got a spicy episode. We're going to be discussing the #1 mistake that's ruining your photo. We have a KelbyOne instructor, Liesl Walsh, in the studio here, and Scott's on his way to Antarctica. But we're here still taking your questions, and we're going to talk about this topic of why our photos suck. And it all starts in 13.3 seconds, and as Scott would say, let's go.
The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the tripod alternative that is changing the world. Everybody has a Platypod. You should too. Go to platypod.com.
Well, hey everybody, we're here on the grid, and like I said, Scott's he's on his way to Antarctica, so getting a little cold here, but I can't wait to see what he's going to come up with. But first, we've got a guest here, so let's introduce our guest. So Liesl Walsh. Yes. So you're a KelbyOne instructor.
Yes.
You've taught some. You're here teaching some courses.
Yes.
But as well, you taught a course on how to sell your work, right?
Exactly. Last year I did a course about how you can sell prints online using Fine Art America. It was a big hit, and it's just a pleasure to be back.
Yes, and I think that's why the topic today, I thought was very appropriate to have you on. I know you're probably going to be you might be a little nervous because I wanted to get a little spicy with it. Where I think the first title I had with Christina backed me off from was why our photos suck. And I was like, well, I guess it's kind of a little too negative. But basically what it is there's a mistake that I see a lot of people making, and I know we talked briefly about this, that we see a lot of people making, that really can take their photos from just like ordinary to extraordinary by just focusing on this one thing. And the hard part is, guys, it's not the gear.
Exactly.
It's not the lens. It's not the technical a lot of times. It's another side of it. So that's a little tease of what our topic's going to be about. But before we get there, we got a bunch of housekeeping stuff that we have to get through because it's always on the grid. We got to get through the housekeeping stuff. First, we got to give away a bunch of prizes, right? So we got to give away prizes. So before I get there, though, Platypod, they still got their Delta Kickstarter going, and I was just checking on it. Where was it? Right here. I mean, they're up to, let's see, $158,000 worth of pre-orders on this. That closes in 10 days. So if you want to get on this Kickstarter, get this when it first comes out. Make sure you grab one of those in the next 10 days and become an early backer so you can get that. I know that those are shipping in just, I think, a month for some and then 2 months for another. So it's like a month or 2 months. But from Platypod, we're giving away one of their grips. So these are a great attachment for your phone. So if you want to attach your phone to a tripod, you want to attach your phone to a Platypod, anything, this is great. And I say for the price point, that's probably the best grip out there in the industry. And then we're going to give away a copy of Scott's Crush the Composition book. You can get this over on Amazon, but somebody's going to win it today. It's a nice coffee table book that you can learn all about composition, which is a key to photography.
Oh, it's going to relate to today.
Yeah, it's going to relate to today because that's a big part of what makes our photos not suck. And then we're going to give away a copy of the iPhone photography book. So this is another one, great if you're into iPhones, have photography. All you guys I know watching are into photography, but using your iPhone to make great photos. And this has been that's been our bestseller for a while now. Scott's one of Scott's best sellers. So definitely check that out over on Amazon. Then we're going to give away a copy of On One No Noise 2024. This is a great plugin for removing noise and adding back the sharpening you lose from that high ISO. I know I like exactly how I use it in there. Milky Way photos, night photos, even action photos where you're shooting at low light, like bird photography, shooting at low light, being able to remove that noise, but then add back that sharpening that you lose with noise reduction.
Definitely.
Totally a great plugin. I love their new one because it doesn't remove stars. You used to like a lot of noise reduction plugins because stars are so fine pinpoint that it would pick it up as like noise, right? So it would remove a lot of the stars out of your photos. So this one keeps the stars and retains those stars, but it actually brings that sharpness back that you lose.
That is so key.
It is really cool. And then we're giving away a V-Flat from V-Flat World. Now, this is for U.S. shipping only, so you just have to have a U.S. shipping address to win this, but somebody's going to win a V-Flat. Everybody can get 10% off, though, at V-Flat World. Just use that code KELBY10 at checkout, and you get 10% off. So looks like that's what we have to give away today. So a couple less than we usually have, which is probably good because it usually takes forever to get through all the prices. All right, a couple other housekeeping things. We do have coming up the iPhone Photography Conference. I was talking about the iPhone Photography book. We've got a conference coming up in the beginning of March, so it's about less than a month away now. You could save $150 by registering now for the iPhone conference. If you want to learn how to maximize your iPhone for photography, which again, I know you all are photographers. You're looking to kind of up that game. This is a great event to register for. What's great about our conferences too is you get to go and attend the conference, but then you get the recordings of that conference for an entire year. So if you miss a session or we have 2 sessions going on at once, you can always view it later. So another thing we've been talking about, our Scott and I's Tokyo workshop. Unfortunately, that sold out. So we don't have any spots available for it, but it sold out in just a couple days. But Scott does have another workshop coming up. So if you want to get on the announcements for that workshop, just make sure to go to his site, go down to that bottom, and make sure that you register for that advanced notice. And then another thing, if you're into the Milky Way, we talked about the Milky Way. I do have a workshop that has only 3 spots left. So 3 spots left this summer. Just go over to milkywayworkshops.com. So milkywayworkshops.com and grab one of those 3 spots if you want to be shooting under the stars with me this July. So really cool stuff there.
That sounds awesome.
Yo, I mean, I love Milky Way photography.
That's your passion?
You know me. That's my thing. The rockets is kind of what the bills get paid with, but you know the Milky Way is the passion stuff. Yeah. Right. I just love space. I love space.
And nighttime, you're really good at nighttime photography.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I enjoy that, and we're gonna do stuff like what's great about it is we go through all the gamut, light painting, single exposure, double exposure, tracking, all the different stuff that people need to know to really take great night photos, especially Milky Way night photos. Yeah. But with that, good transition into what our topic is, because one of the things that I see in my photography, for example, if we're talking Milky Way photography, one of the things that people show me their Milky Way photos, and I'll look at them and be like, that's a great shot of the sky. You know? Right. Or they'll show me an epic landscape, and they're looking at it, and I'm like, it's great sky replacement. It's an epic sunset, but the photo has nothing besides the sunset. The photo has nothing besides the Milky Way. It has nothing. There's nothing to it. And I think what it is, and that's where I say the one thing that could take everybody's photography up and that could sum up the show, and you could leave now if you could understand this. The one thing is your subject. Yes. How important your subject is to your photography. Not what gear you shoot, not what lens you have, not how silky smooth the bokeh is, or whatever you're going to say technically or technically that's going to be with your photo. It is that subject. So how do you feel about that?
Well, having a strong subject is so important because it's a part of your message. Like the whole point of taking the photo is having a strong message, a story, right? You want a person looking at your image to connect to it emotionally, especially if you're selling prints, right? Exactly. You want a strong subject, right? You want your image to stand out online and to visually be very appealing. So you have a good looking subject, a strong subject that people resonate with. Right.
Like immediately, right?
Exactly.
And I think that's and it's funny you said the same word. We didn't talk about that before, but it's the same word that I was going to say is story, right?
Yes.
That the subject is the story, right? And that's the thing. When I say subject, when I say you can interchange that with story or the meaning of your photo, or it has to be instantaneously recognizable what your subject is. Now, I'm not saying that, then this is where I'll say is like, I think the one thing that the genre that has the hardest time is landscape photography. Arguably the biggest genre, right?
Yes.
Arguably the biggest genre has the hardest time because it is so hard to instantaneously know what that subject is, especially in grand landscapes where you're just like for example, that's the hard thing. You're standing in front of the Grand Canyon. And it's like, there's just this massive hole, right? When you take a picture of it, it just loses that depth and dimension because you're putting a 3-dimensional world in a 2-dimensional plane. Exactly. And it's what we do in that frame and how we compose and put subjects into the frame to lead the viewer's eye, or how light falls. See, because light could be the subject, light can be the aid to the subject, light could be the subject. I mean, that's where we could get down to with like abstract or something. But it's simple that whole thing of like, you need this anchor to your photo. And like you were just saying, like, don't you find that the prints that you sell more have that clearly defined subject?
Oh, definitely, especially because my audience, I'd say 80% of my buyers are locals. They have an emotional attachment to certain places in my town or in my region. So I'm focusing on those places and what they love. Like for me, it's the Venice Fishing Pier, Sharky's, the restaurant, which is at the pier, the Sarasota skyline, the skyline itself, or the Ringling Bridge, or the beach, the lifeguard stand at the beach. So you think, for me, I'm photographing places that my audience loves, and I'm going at a good time of day when the lighting is beautiful so that the subject looks its best. And I'm trying to position myself where the composition is excellent on a fine art level, but also showing the place at its best. So there's a lot of things to think about. You don't just randomly go there and just kind of, I'll just wing it. I'll just take a photo in the middle of the day and not think about anything. There's a lot of stuff to think about.
Yeah, well, and I think that's what a lot of times is so hard about photography, is that when we look at our photos, and the reason this topic came up for me is I've been doing a lot of portfolio reviews, especially in the last few months, the last year, but hundreds of them, right? And looking at people's work, there's great photos, but then there's certain photos mixed in with those photos, and when I get to explaining like what's missing here, it 9 times out of 10 I'll ask them, well, what's your subject?
Yes.
And what they're explaining to me is something that I cannot see in the photo. That they're explaining to something that was off the camera, behind the camera, had to do with the day of the week, or where they were at, or how the light was falling, or something but it just, they couldn't describe to me the subject.
And the photo has to give you that message.
Yes.
Because if you're looking at their photo online, like say on a website or on Fine Art America, if they're trying to sell prints, you have to give that message in the photo, right? You need to make it very clear. And so that's why you, as an artist, as a photographer, how you position yourself, how you take the photo, but also how you edit the photo, is you make the message as clear as possible.
Right, and that was probably the thing back in the day of, well, that's why dodging and burning was so key, right?
Yes.
And like Ansel Adams did that all the time, and others did that all the time, because they wanted your eyes to go certain places.
Exactly.
They wanted your eyes to travel, and that's one of the things Juan and I were talking about the other day, is how we're shooting photos and like wanting the viewer's eye to travel through the photo.
I love doing that.
Yeah.
I love dodging and burning and creating, telling your eye where to go. And what that does is it creates an emotion. And then when you develop your style and you have a certain way of doing it, your portfolio starts to have a unified feeling or a certain similar message or a style.
Look.
And then when people start seeing your images out in public, they'll say, oh, that's an Erik Kuna photo. I know it's an Erik photo even before looking at your name, right? And so my work has started to get known like that with locals in it, and it gets me work, actually, because I'm known for this certain kind of feeling. In fact, some people have said your work has like this mysterious, peaceful feeling to it. Mm-hmm. And anyway,
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
And then that's where I think this is so key, because it's interesting. Again, you go into that topic because that's another one
you
that
could go down a million rabbit holes with this.
But this is so key, because that's
Yes.
exactly what's happened to me in my career. People do call up.
Mm-hmm.
And companies call up, and like right now, I've got to the point where a lot of my aerospace work is it's commercial work. It's for clients that are looking, but how they're getting to me is years and years of doing photojournalism, but then some creativity work and developing a style, and that's because that's what they always say.
Yes.
We want your look. We
Yes.
want. There's something about your photo. There's something about the. And
It's the
very
feeling.
technical people that are calling me. This is the thing.
Oh, that's
very
it.
technical
Yeah.
people.
Because of your audience.
Aerospace engineering
Yes.
companies. They're saying, I like the feel of your photo.
Yes.
Not what camera I shot it with, not the dot pitch or the megapixels or again the lens I use. They like the feeling of it. Now half the
Yes.
feeling is the editing, like you talked about.
Yes.
Half the feeling
Yes.
is the editing, and that's because
the
I mean,
other-
you and me, we could kind of shoot the same photos, but then the actual post processing it is like, and I would
Be
maybe
diff-
60%, maybe
Yeah.
60% of it.
And then, like we were saying before, how you take the photo, the angle you're shooting from, or the composition, what you put in the photo, what you leave out, creates the message and the feeling. And that's like the starting point, right? And then the editing takes it to a whole another level. You're adding your personal touch or look to it. And so speaking of work, like next month, one of my photos of a local historic landmark in my town, the Venice train station that the Ringling Circus used.
Oh, cool.
It's going to be on a book cover celebrating 100 years of history in Venice, Florida. And a local newspaper writer chose my photo because he says he loves the feeling of it and how it portrays the town. So it's just a huge honor. So that's the kind of stuff that your KelbyOne students can look forward to when they work on having a strong subject and a message in the images, right?
Yeah, it's like it's the subject again. That's where I want to beat that home today.
Yes.
It is the subject, but it's how that subject makes you feel.
Yes.
It's the story behind that subject. It's the excellently recognizable part of the subject. So we have to take a break. When we come back,
That went fast.
what I want to do is go through an exercise to show you how you can kind of like see this for yourself. We're gonna look at some work and really see like this is how I think we do it, where we analyze these photos, and that's how we
Yes.
got to the point of understanding this stuff.
Sounds great.
Think your iPhone is just a phone? Think again. Join the KelbyOne iPhone conference and unlock the full power of your camera right in your pocket. From pro-level shooting techniques to jaw-dropping edits. Our top industry experts will show you how to turn ordinary shots into stunning masterpieces. 2 days. World-class instructors. Endless creativity. Don't just take pictures. Make art. Join today.
Hi, my name is Liesl Walsh. I'm a professional photographer from Venice, Florida, and I'm here to teach you how to sell your prints online using Fine Art America. I absolutely love Fine Art America. It is so simple to use. So I'm going to show you all my tips, how I do it. I'm going to show you why it's good to sell online versus in person. There's a lot of benefits for selling online on a website. I'm going to show you how to upload a photo to Fine Art America and why it's such a simple process. And I'm going to show you how to organize your website so that the eye buys. You have to drive traffic to your website. So I have mastered this over the last couple of years. I'm going to show you exactly how I do it. I'm going to show you some fun analytics. I have some fun stories, exciting things. I just can't wait to share all of this with you because I want you to be able to sell more of your art online very easily. and very successfully worldwide with museum quality prints. So come join me in my new class exclusively at KelbyOne, How to Market and Sell Prints Online. I can't wait for you to join me. Let's get together. I'll see you there.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Canon.
All right, we are back.
Hey, welcome back.
And what we're going to do here is I'm going to really break it down because I think this is one of those things where you can quickly see how this can be applied to people's work, right? That you could easily see this right away. And that's where, I've looked at Liesl's work. Let's look at Liesl's work, right?
Okay.
So let's go into here's her Florida coastline, right? And if you look right away, I don't even have to open up the photos. And I can see, for example, what's the subject here? It's the pier.
Yeah.
And let's go ahead, let's blow it up, right? It's
That's
the
my
pier,
bestseller, by the way.
right? It's a great, I'm sure people that are from Venice, immediately connect with, that's the Venice fishing pier, right?
Yes.
But you took it at the right time with the light. You've got the leading line of the pier to the horizon. But immediately you knew what the subject was.
Yes, it's very clear. It's
Right?
very clear. Yes. And I took people out.
What's the subject? It's the lifeguard stand immediately.
Yes.
But it's everything around it is perfect too. You waited for the right light. You even have the juxtaposition of that one boat out there, kind of giving that scale.
Composited in. I added that in.
But you're kind of doing
Yes.
that again to lead people around the frame. But
Yes,
immediately,
telling the story.
immediately, what's the subject?
Yes.
What's the subject here? The
Yes.
pier.
Under the pier.
What's the subject here?
My
right?
one Milky Way photo.
But what's the subject here? It's not the Milky Way. It's still
the lifeguard
the
stand
lifeguard
again.
stand, right?
Yes.
The Milky Way is the sky. It's the awesome sunset. It's the
Yes.
rocks.
Yeah.
It's the lighthouse.
The lifeguard. Yeah, the lighthouse.
It's the rocks. It's the pier.
Yeah.
It's the leading line of the pier.
Yep.
It's the pier. All right. So
You gotta
let's
take
go.
a photo
Let's
of
go
the
to
pier.
another portfolio. Right. Let's go to Europe here.
Yeah.
Right.
We've been to we went to Rome,
Rome.
2 years ago.
It's the Colosseum, right? There
Castle
you go.
St. Angelo.
There you go.
Yep. The Vatican.
It's the clearly defined subject. You know where to look.
Yep.
You know where to look, right? This is what it takes, guys. That's what it is. You can't have your audience or your viewer wondering what you want me to look at, right?
Yeah.
Wondering what you want me to look at.
Yep.
I could keep on going through. Let's go to Michigan. You went to Michigan, right?
Yeah, I've got family there.
Yeah. So, but boom. Now,
Yeah.
again, so this is what I want to maybe stress. Take the windmill out of it. Mm-hmm. Is that still a good shot? I don't think so.
No, it'd be boring. I mean, it's a
think
great sky,
it'd be a great sky replacement.
Yes.
It would be a great sky
Yes.
replacement. And it'd be an okay, and this is what I see from a lot of people, is I see that sky with that foreground without the windmill.
Yeah, and then, so for me, that would be a boring photo. It would need something like an animal or
Yeah, it
something in
needs
the
something.
foreground. You want an interesting foreground, right?
Yep.
And you want something that you could say is the star of the photo. What
Yep.
is the photo about?
Right, and that's what I'm talking about here. Is it? So many of us, we look at the sky and we go, amazing light, or we look at the surroundings where we were, and we try to like put stuff into the frame, and it's like nobody knows what you're talking about. You know, like nobody has the backstory when they're looking at your photo of what was going on that day.
And here's something else. If you look at the windmill, most of the windmill is standing against the sky, so the windmill is very clear in the photo. There's nothing distracting around it, because in landscape photography, that is something so challenging. Is you might see something that's a strong subject and really interesting, but maybe there's like tree branches in the way, or something like visual clutter, right? This is where it's important to walk around and find the best angle of that subject where it stands out very clearly.
Yeah, and I
right?
can see that the windmill is up from your location because the road is pitching up.
Yes.
You've come down kind of a little mound or something. You probably dropped your camera lower. You're pointed up more towards the sky. Again, to purposely put that windmill against the sky so it immediately pops out.
So it stands out. And then I position myself so that the fence is a leading light taking you to the subject. That's
So
what's
right
important
here,
about leading
it,
lines.
Like, boom, right up into it.
And I mean, there's a million ways I could have took this photo. It's a big space, right? But you have to think of, if you think about the rules of composition and how to guide the eye through the photo, you want it to be very clear. So if you have a leading line, make it take your eye to the subject, not away from the subject, and not outside of the photo, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
And that's
knowing
like-
those things will, it helps. So this got the leading
Same
line
thing.
of that little
Yep.
path. And then I tried to stand where those trees are not blocking the windmill as much.
Yep. And there. I mean,
Yes,
look at like
the
like
lighthouse
again,
again.
subtract the lighthouse out of it. I see those shots all the time.
Yes.
But if you put the lighthouse in it, it becomes a great shot. And
Yes.
that's what I'm trying to get people to understand here is how much that subject matters. And if Paul Kober's out there watching from Holland, Michigan, Paul, why haven't I seen a shot of this lighthouse from you?
My family is from this town. I have my father used to fish there when he was a young boy. So this location means something to my family, and that photo has actually been a bestseller out of this
I'm sure.
portfolio, out of the Michigan collection. I have
Yeah,
a lot of
people
relatives have
from
this print.
that region, that area, it's very recognizable.
Yes.
I mean, shoot, it's perfect. It's a red lighthouse. You know,
And
it's like arresting.
You
It's just
think
like
about how to use color to tell the story. The green of the trees is complementary color to the red. It
Yeah.
makes the red pop,
oh yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So I use color also, and
Yep.
the framing of the trees. So
Yep, there's another one with the
Yes.
windmill, another one with the lighthouse, but
same
again,
lighthouse, but a different
I
location.
want you to look like immediately. You tell what the subject is. You can
Yes.
tell what the subject is. You can tell what the subject is.
Yes.
You know, that's what I'm saying. It's a key to our photography is that subject.
Yes. And
But you can see
going-
you actually moved around and
I
got
did.
different shots of the same thing.
Yes, and I was there a couple days. I went different times of the day, and I went to different areas. You could tell I photographed that lighthouse from different positions.
Well, and you're looking
yes.
at it also for the sellability of, you know, how
Yes.
salesy it is. You know, what can
Yes.
I sell this? And usually what it is we're as photographers not wearing that hat sometimes. We're kind of just shooting, but we have to realize that if we're making art, now again, people can say, well, I'm making it for myself. And I'm like, that's fine if you're making it
Well,
for yourself.
yeah.
I still think you need a subject. You know, you can't talk me out of that one. But it is nice if you're wanting to sell your work to kind of put yourself into the mind of your client or
Exactly.
the typical person to buy your photo.
Exactly, like so the last photo you were showing with the lighthouse and the boat, that one, I put the boat in there because this location is very popular place for boats to come in and out of Lake Michigan into the little lake that's Lake Macatawa, I think it is. And there a lot of people have memories of watching the boats come in and out. and they have boats, right? So it's part of the culture there. So I wanted to have a photo that would resonate with the people who live in that area.
Awesome.
So anyway.
So we got some comments coming in. So we got Stu saying hi, saying they say pictures is worth 1,000 words, but if you need 1,000 words for people to appreciate it, you're missing something.
That's a good way to say that.
That's a good one. Yes.
Yes.
But that's what it really is key. Like, we put too much emphasis on everything else that wasn't in the frame, and we have to have our frame speak for itself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then Peggy is saying, I can't see it now. It's got a little, oh, there it is. Peggy's saying, Liesl's class was instrumental in helping me get my Fine Art America shop set up for selling. There you go.
Yes, Peggy, she has sold some Tuscany images. I'm just so happy for her. She's doing great.
Yeah, and
Thanks, Peggy.
that's the other thing I think a lot of people don't realize with selling, right?
Yes.
Is that other photographers tend to be the people who don't buy your work, right? So we always think like, well, I have to, well, that image isn't sharp enough, or that image has some noise in it, or there'll be some technical aspect that us as photographers, it'll annoy us.
Yeah.
But that's not who's buying your photos. Or that, I don't know about you, but like for me, it tends to be with my style or my genre, it tends to be younger people that are into space and all that. It tends to be college students, you know,
interesting.
Like just my audience, right? It tends to be a younger audience. So.
No, that's really interesting because my audience is older retirees.
Yeah.
But that's what my town is. Mostly snowbirds,
it's people wanting
retirees,
those pictures. Yeah.
Tourists. I have a lot of people who buy my prints who vacation in my town, but they live up north, like say New York or New Jersey or Pennsylvania or something.
Yeah.
So, but mostly, and I could tell on my social media, I could look in my stats and they'll say the general age group of people who are following me is the highest percentage is people over 40.
Yeah,
or 50.
yeah. Well, it varies.
Yeah.
Again, when I'm shooting, shots that are local, or like, I have a couple shots here locally, like of the Skyway and all this stuff. Like those tend to sell with older, more established, or businesses that want it for their business in a lobby or something. But it matters. You got to again know your audience. But knowing, I think the key there is photographers aren't going to buy your work.
Yeah.
You know what we're going to do as photographers? We're going to go, ooh, that's a nice shot. Let me go there and shoot that so I can print it out, right? And that's what we do as photographers.
Yes, I have seen a lot of people take photos of the Venice Pier after seeing my photos, which that's fine,
I mean, photographers are going to do that.
Yeah.
Photographers are going to do that.
Yes.
But most people won't. Most people won't. They're going to look at that photo and go, hey, I want a print of that. And that's who your client is. That's who your customer is. Right. All right, so we got to take another break, and I told you these things go fast.
It did go fast.
But when we come back, I want to step away from looking at Liesl's work, but I want to look at other people's work. And we're going to look at, and I want you to see and have a contest here if you can pick out the subject really quickly.
That's a good one. Okay.
If you're like me, and I'm betting you are, you love Lightroom tips. I love them. I love those little things that make you faster and more efficient and more productive. I mean, that's why I run the website lightroomkillertips.com. Well, if you like this type of stuff, I got a brand new class where I've got 25 of my all-time favorite Lightroom tips. I got some brand new ones you've probably never seen before. I've got some ones that you remembered from years ago and you forgot about. I got some new twists. There's just so much stuff. We're gonna have a great time together. So come and check out my brand new class with 25 of my all-time favorite Lightroom tips, and it's exclusively here at KelbyOne.
Hey everyone, Rick Salmon here. I'm really excited to tell you about my latest KelbyOne class, Capturing the Heart of a Culture with Your Camera. Now, this topic is really close to my heart. It's really close to my heart because for the past 30 or so years, I've traveled around the world with Susan. We've traveled to more than 100 different countries, documenting different cultures. Now, in this comprehensive class, I'll talk about my photo philosophies, planning and research, composition and storytelling, interacting with people photography skills, cultural focus, and more. I'll share with you everything that you need to know to capture the heart of the culture with your camera, and just as important, have fun when you're doing it. You know, I could have called this class Where to Go for Great Travel Photographs because it features my favorite locations on the planet. Or I could have called it a master class in travel photography because I really do cover it all. But this class, truly, my friends, is about capturing the heart of a culture. So it goes way, way, way beyond just another travel photography class. So, my friends, I really hope you could join me for my latest class only on KelbyOne.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by B&H Photo, the professional source since 1973.
All right, we are back. We got people joining us
Hello.
all over the place. So we got Mariana saying hi to the Grid game all the way from London. Lou saying hi from Wake Forest. Barbara saying hi. Lori saying hi from Newfoundland. John saying greetings from a dull, dreary Kansas City. Ronald saying hi from sunny Connecticut. Sharon saying hi from New Jersey. 3200 Buddy saying hi from Arizona. And then Cammie saying hi and a great day to everybody. Paul saying hi from Maine. Patrick saying hi from Fort Walton Beach. Mark saying hi from Holly Springs. Pat saying hi from Missouri. AJ saying hi from Miami. Jerry saying hi from all the way Tacoma, Washington. Frederick saying hi from sunny
I know
California.
Fred. Hi, Fred.
Yay. Yeah, so all over the world joining us, all over the place.
A lot of people. Hello, everybody.
Hey. So, I want to do an exercise now. That's what I was saying. It's
Okay,
like, I want
let's
people
do
to
it.
see. So, the Sony Awards, the World Photography Awards,
yeah.
they came out with their national regional award winners and short lists. Like, so this is not, they haven't announced like the full on, like this is the, but they did the youth one a couple weeks ago. But I just wanted to look at these photos. And when these photos come up, you got to be able to say, like, where is the subject? What is the subject? And you're going to see that every one of these photos has something. But I love to do this exercise when I'm looking at stuff to see, like, what is it that made this photo win, right? What is it?
Oh, wow.
And the subject is the people holding up or balancing or doing whatever they're doing. I don't even, like, that's the whole thing. Do you see? You don't need, I don't need a backstory here.
And you
I
know
don't
why
need a dissertation.
I'll tell you what makes them stand out. They're, if you think light and dark.
Color.
The background is very
hazy.
light. The highest area of contrast is where the people are against that light background. Your eye goes to that first before you go to that really cool vehicle with all that hay on it.
Yep,
So
you're going to them, and then you're pushing over to there. Like it's traveling over to that weird vehicle where they're stacking hay or something.
yes, right. If you think of, this is why dodging and burning or thinking about light and dark areas and where your eye goes first, it's going to tell the story, right? So this artist did an excellent job of the light and dark areas in the image.
Right.
That's what makes it.
That's what makes it, and
And
that's where,
interesting subject.
and that's where it is. I don't even need to know the story here. You don't need to have a explanation or tell me what f-stop you shot it at.
Right.
All right, what's this photo?
Oh no, that's interesting.
It's all about the woman flying up there, right?
She's flying.
It's all about, like, that's what it's about. Though.
That's what you
the
see first.
subject. Like,
Yeah.
she's to your point, in the sky, kind of like you did with the lighthouse or the windmill. Where
Yes.
she's in the sky and it's simple up there.
Exactly.
There's nothing distracting. There's no of those palm trees hitting her. Anything, just floating out there.
Yeah, and she's at the rule of thirds too. Like
Yeah,
where
it's
she is,
compositionally,
composition is good. The photo's busier at the bottom, but she stands out because it's a very simple background.
Well, yeah, and that's
it's
what I
just interesting.
usually, again, take the simplicity of her being in her position.
Yeah.
The bottom of the photo, if she wasn't in it, it would be nothing. It would be messy.
It would be just a regular snapshot. You notice even the sky doesn't have a lot of clouds, so even the sky is like really, really simple. Simple texture, right?
And the light on the face. I
Yeah,
mean,
her face is lit up. So you see her face
It's
first.
great, but it's immediately, I knew the subject's her flying through the sky. The
Yeah.
other stuff, just supporting characters to the photo.
Yeah, they just help tell a story. Oh, this is interesting.
Right?
Yeah, the bird is the subject, and then the plant is just a supporting character. To it. But it helps balance it. If you think of the lines of like the wings, the direction of the wings, and then the lines of those leaves go in the opposite way. It's interesting
It was
position.
interesting because of the wings and how they curve with the other branches. And then because they have the white background, everything stands out. It's very simple.
It's a very simple message.
All right, this is an interesting one.
Yeah.
What's the subject here?
Yeah, so that's a good question because it's a landscape, and it's a busy landscape, right? But what stands out to me is that river in the middle and then the mountain in the back.
Yeah.
The sides of that, what do you call it? What are those things called?
Yeah, a canyon or
Thank
a
you,
gorge
canyon.
or whatever we're going to call it.
It's just a busy texture, but really they're dark, right? So the things that pop is that mountain in the back because it's very bright, and then that river, it's very light value, so it's very bright. So that stands out to me.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about with landscapes. Landscapes are
Yes.
actually very hard.
Yes, and I wonder if this is Iceland. I'm not sure, but places like this can be very challenging because it's a very rugged landscape with a busy texture.
Yep.
So you have to position yourself where it's not too busy, or in editing you darken some of the busy area. Anyway, the artist did a nice job of making the mountain and the water stand out really nice by brightening them.
To me, it was the mountain at the end, that the stream is leading right to the mountain.
Yes, it's like a leading line.
The canyon is leading right to the mountain. So
Yeah.
everything is pulling me into a background mountain, which I
Yes.
thought was very interesting in that shot. That this is one
Yeah.
where the subject is in almost, to me, in the
It's far
back,
away. Yeah.
but it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah.
But it only works because of the color combination, the leading line, the leading stream, also the contrast between the blue and the green.
Yes.
That works to kind of lead me into that mountain peak.
And it's like a warm and cool. The sky is like a cool blue, and the land is like a yellowish green.
Yeah.
It kind of has a lot of nice contrasts in this.
And then this is all about those things hanging on the branches.
Yeah, what are they, like bags or something?
I think it's bags or something. But that's what the
I'd have to
photo's
read
all
the title.
about, right? It's about the bags or something.
It's like a mysterious,
This is one of those,
this is really
abstract-
interesting
Yeah.
because if you look at that tree, it's like someone really pruned it back really hard, and
Mm-hmm.
it's just kind of a dead tree, or this is more like one of those thought-provoking images.
Yeah.
Now let me tell you, I love that yellow, that soft yellow color.
Yeah.
I don't know, I guess it's just a mysterious, simple, more of an abstract kind of a image.
It is, but I guess my thing with the exercise is, where did your eye immediately go?
Well, your eye goes right to that red
the bags,
object, the
bags.
blue and the red bags, because of they're the brightest, the boldest colors, right? The yellow does make those two colors stand out.
Yep.
And, that white area, I don't know if that's snow, I'm not sure what that is, but everything else is just kind of
It's so cool.
soft. It's interesting.
It's interesting. I also love how there's 3 branches. So it's like stuff in threes
an
looks
odd
better.
number.
Odd numbers looks really good.
Yeah, it's just simple. You know what? I think, could you imagine that with a different sky? It would work or not work. Like the yellow,
Well,
I
the
think
yellow really
it adds
works
a nice
with the red
warmth.
and the blue.
The
'Cause
yellow
you get-
works.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
yellow works really good.
Yeah.
And
Oh, wow.
what's this other? I mean, it's the volcano, right?
Yeah.
Immediately, it's about this volcano with lava coming down it. And then you're
Yeah.
seeing the reflection of the lava in the water. I mean, it's just, that's what it is
And
immediately.
the lava is the brightest thing in the image. Your eye goes to it first. Everything else in the photo, you could tell it's nighttime. Everything
Yeah.
else is very dark.
Yep. But immediately we knew.
But the message is the lava,
Yep.
right? And maybe shooting stars or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But immediately you see it. Mm-hmm. This is where people, and animals are the same.
Yes.
It's kind of a little cheating because immediately you have a subject, but then the hard thing with people or with animals is because we see a lot of them, it has to be special.
Yes.
When you're capturing or portraits of people or people or animals, the same thing, it's got to be special, right?
And say something, and this is where pose is really important. Like if you're doing animals and the animal is moving and you're taking a series of photos very fast in a row, going like really fast, you pick the right one with the right actual stop of time where it looks really good, right?
Yep.
So there is an art or an eye for that.
Yep. And then there you go.
Now this is interesting.
But what is it? It's immediately the rhino.
Exactly. And
I
this
know the
is
rhino.
where, look, now this kind of a location, right? There could be a lot of busy textures. And this artist chose a nice spot, like even though there's trees behind the rhino, that fog is making them diffuse, so it's not a very busy texture, even though it could be, right?
Yeah.
And even like those plants in the very front are, it's a more high frequency texture right there, but there's not too many of them, right?
Yep.
So it works. And, the rhinos, the darkest thing in the image, and the white sky just helps it stand out. So your eye goes there first. Yeah, that's neat.
And boom. I mean, that's
Oh, no, that's interesting.
so interesting, right? But that's where we can clearly define the subject. It's the boat,
Yes.
the people underneath the water. It's that plane, and everybody's sitting in that plane.
Yeah.
And now this is one where I just want to know I want to know a little bit more about this story.
It's a mysterious,
Yeah,
this
I like
is-
the story on this one.
It keeps you interested because you're trying to figure out the story. And because there's a lot of people in there, you're wondering what's happening, right?
They did a good job about keeping the people in different positions where they weren't running into each other as that much. Like I noticed even down
Yes.
here, like they're not running into each other
wonder-
that much. They have some separation. Here's a little tight, but again, it goes to like, I want to know a little bit more about this.
And if you think, I don't know if it's a composite or if this was captured in one photograph, but if you think of the placement of all the people underwater, it's very balanced, right? And your eye, it's very unified composition, actually. So
Yeah, there's
yeah,
a lot
it works.
going, a lot of stuff going good for this photo.
Yes.
And this is actually one of my favorites so far.
But
It's
very interesting.
It's very interesting, but I think what it is, again, clearly defined subject. We know what it is immediately.
Exactly.
All right, so what is it here?
Okay, now this is one where light is a big part of it because
Mm-hmm.
you know how you said before, sometimes it's light,
Sometimes
but
it is
it's
light.
the shadows, right?
Yep.
They're all they're backlit, they're silhouettes, so light is a big part of this one.
Yep, so light in the shadows, the beams coming through, just very interesting.
Yes.
And right there, I mean, this is where color color comes
Yeah.
in to create the subject. Right?
And shape,
Yep.
right? The shape of the window and the door. This is one of those like mysterious images, right?
And there's the subject.
Yeah, so now this is interesting because is that like a backdrop? So they're doing like a portrait shoot outside?
Yeah, they're doing a portrait shoot outside.
It's like a behind the scenes photo almost.
Yeah, it kind of is. But then it also has, I think, the quality of light kind of leads to like a magazine type shoot.
Yeah.
I think that's where it's kind of like teetering a couple lines here, right?
Yeah.
But again, kind of going back to the exercise, immediately you can see here's where the subject is. Now this is a little bit is pushing it for me. I'm having to.
You know what though? Okay, let's
but
imagine.
it's interesting.
See what the backdrop is doing? It's creating a simple background.
Oh yeah. And
The
they get
people are
separated
wearing
from
dark
it.
clothes. If you look at the landscape is the dark trees. You wouldn't see the people very well. They wouldn't stand out
At all.
At all.
It
would be a very bad snapshot, right? So the backdrop is actually helping them stand out really well.
Backdrop is really cool. I think it's an interesting use, but it has that. It's almost like teetering on that like magazine shoot, you know.
Oh,
And
okay.
here's
So
just
that's a hand with
with something
a
burning in it.
sparkler
Looks
or
like a
something?
sparkler or something. But again,
That's
immediately it is the fire is the,
Yeah.
the subject here.
yeah. Okay, the
It's
basketball.
A basketball, right? It's right there.
Yeah. I
Now,
guess-
yeah, I mean, there's just everything about it where it's like, it's a good composition, good moment.
I'll tell you something. You know what's interesting is the basketball is in the very almost centered. But
Yes.
if you had cropped that left side off, it would be awkward because that empty space on the
Yeah.
left is showing you where the ball could have came from. Someone threw it there,
Yes.
so you almost feel like like it just got thrown and it's about to go in.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so this one's all about the guy crowd surfing. Right?
Oh,
I
look at
immediately
that.
see the guy crowd surfing. Right.
And then
but
the
then
keyboard
it's also
person.
the lighting.
Yeah.
But they're all converging. All their hands are converging to lift up the one person.
Oh, wow.
You know.
Yeah, definitely not a pose shot. That's like an action shot.
Right. And this is what we're talking about with people. You got to have a great light, great look. But that's where people and animals. You got the subject. The subject's already in your favor. So now you've got to
Yeah.
put the subject in their best light.
Yeah. Oh, this is more like a cultural
Yeah,
documentary type
documentary,
photo.
yeah.
But you know what's interesting though is the placement of all the people and the simple sky is like a resting point for your eye because everything else is so busy. But that person holding the flag
The
really
flag
stands out
is where it
because
does for me.
of that simple sky. So it's an interesting it's a documentary photo that's going towards fine art because of the really good composition.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but we both line up. That flag
The
does
flag
a lot.
stands out.
Lot for me.
Yeah.
And then this is
Oh,
all light and shadows, right? I mean,
Yeah.
but it's the leading line of the bend there that's being cut out to then the silhouetted mountain that's kind of matching that same kind of wavy lines.
This is one where it has a lot of feeling. It's more of an abstract image, but this is a type of image that someone would hang in their home because they like the feeling of it, the simplicity
Yeah.
of it, or the abstract feeling.
Definitely. It's all about
Oh.
the penguin flopping. Got the penguin flopping on the beach.
Oh, wow. Now, isn't it interesting the ones in the foreground all blurred out?
Yep.
But you know they're penguins.
Yep.
But the sharpest part of the photo is the one flopping.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Interesting face. That's for sure.
Yeah, you know, what do you think of the background?
Well, it's a little busy.
That's what I was
It's
thinking.
a little busy. That's where it's hard because some of the separation problem that you might have. However,
Yeah.
the
It's
face
part of
is
the
standing
story.
out so much that I think I'm okay with it. Like, I'm okay with it.
Would
I
you
like
have
it.
brightened her face a little more to stand her out? Does it feel a little dark?
I would have maybe darkened the background. I would have maybe darkened the background. I think the mood on her face looks good. I just think the backgrounds, I would have dodged a little, dodged and burned a little, dodge a little bit on the front, burn a little bit more in the back.
Just take it another level would help make
Quarter
it
stop.
a more
Quarter
clear
stop.
message. Although you get it though. You know where they're going with this.
Yeah, and it's all about the fire dancer there.
Yeah.
Right? Clear subject. And again, what's it? I mean, that's cool, but it's all this is aided by the boat coming through it, and then the break in the river, and then all the layers that are through the photo, and then you've got that pattern or that shape in the middle.
Now, the photographer here waited for the exact second where the boat is in a really nice place for the composition.
Yep,
right?
because it's leading you right into
It's leading
this
you
curve.
in. Yeah.
And that line takes you all the way back to the back of the photo, too.
Yeah.
It takes you all the way back here.
Yeah.
So it can take you and travel you all the way through the photo. I love it.
Oh, that's interesting. That person's really excited about that ping pong game.
Yeah, right? Looks like he's so enthralled with the game.
That's interesting.
But we know what the subject is.
Yeah.
We know here it's the person. They're trying to use a frame.
Okay,
It's
the
balloons.
Because selective color,
It's
right?
the people.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
the waterfall.
the water. It's that one lone
That structure.
structure in the water.
Yeah. Oh,
It's
the
the
swimmer.
person in the water. It's actually I think the curve of the mountain there, right? The
You see
S
the
curve.
two people?
And then you got the two people over there. It's that mountain.
Yeah, the shape of it.
It's
The last piece of lettuce.
Lone lettuce, or is that cabbage maybe, or lettuce?
Oh, yeah,
one of those, lettuce or
cabbage.
cabbage. It's that lone one breaking the pattern.
Yeah,
It's
the
that
two guys.
juxtaposition there. It's that one guy kind of flopping over. That's the subject.
Yeah.
But again, that's where I'm just trying to. That's what's making.
Yeah.
What makes that is really it's these, but then it's that one lone guy down here.
Right. Yeah, it's this, that's the story.
Well,
Anyway, that's
there we go. That's where I just wanted to see. I mean, we could keep on going. I could keep on rattling through them. I mean, it's the building and the moon.
yeah.
It's the hair. It's the river, the squiggly river line immediately. It's the S curve with the person. It's the mountains and the layers.
Yeah.
It's all,
it's
about the
boat.
symmetry of that boat.
Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, the
It's
tree.
all about the tree.
Oh,
All about the flowers. It's all about the people.
Yeah, inside the.
Oh, look at it. I mean, they even had, I missed it. But yeah,
Anyway.
they had, the point being, you can see that really quick. I even saw that they had a reflection up there. That's pretty cool.
That's like a little mirror.
so-
Oh, that's neat.
Anyways, so we can see that's what I'm talking about here is, guys, if we want to take our photos kind of to that next level, we've got to make sure we have that awesome subject. And like Joe McNally will say, if you're taking photos and you're like, well, yeah, but my subjects aren't looking amazing, or you want to have more interesting photos, you need to put yourself in front of more interesting things.
Exactly.
Right?
Yes.
And that's
a
just
good
part of it.
version of it.
Yep.
Right? And a beautiful flower, not a dead flower.
Yep.
That's something I learned from Scott Kelby like over 10 years ago. I'll never forget it.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to shoot a beautiful thing, put yourself in
Yes.
front of a beautiful thing, right? And that's what we
Yes.
have to do. It's fine to practice. Like, that's another thing. We can get into that, a whole different topic. But, like, it's fine to practice with just everyday things. But when you're going to go play, you're going to put yourself in front of the beautiful thing,
Yes.
And that's where a lot of times I see people, and maybe that's a topic for another day, but they'll spend so much effort going to somewhere and not practicing before they get there. And then they're like their time when they're playing, they're in front of that beautiful thing, but they don't capture it the best because they didn't practice it.
Exactly.
And that's a whole different topic.
Making it look its best. Right?
Yep.
Yes.
And we got to perfect that. But hey, we got to
Okay.
take one more break. But when we
Another
come
one.
back, we've got to give away prizes, and we got to do some wrap up stuff. So we'll be back in just
All
a few
right.
minutes.
See you there.
Hey guys, I'm Karen Hutton and welcome to my class about Zion National Park. This park is absolutely gorgeous and it makes me so excited to be part of the greater National Park series that KelbyOne is doing. Zion National Park to me is really special. I've been here many times. Throughout this class you're going to see footage of me and scenery from other trips because I really wanted to give you a full experience of the place over time and different conditions and so on and so forth. Zion is really a big park and you're going to want a car. We'll talk about other ways of traveling through it. But just as an overview, I think of Zion in 4 sections. One is Kolob Canyons, there's Kolob Terrace, then there's the Scenic Canyon on the beginning, the east side, and then the actual east side on the farthest other side of the park. So buckle up, we're going to cover all the areas and some of the specialities that each one has to offer, some of the things to be careful about, to be prepared for. We're going to talk about gear, we're going to talk about all kinds of things. So come join me on my latest epic class on KelbyOne.com.
This segment of The Grid is brought to you by Platypod, the world's most compact tripod base.
All right, so I hope you learned something today of just like that topic of making sure that if we want our photos to just not suck, one of the main things that we can do is making sure that they have a clearly defined subject in them.
Exactly.
But then making sure, again, if you're one of those genres that we kind of know, again, like sometimes I feel like I'm cheating with like aviation or aerospace. It's like shooting a rocket. Well, obviously the
You
rocket's
have a strong
the
subject, but you have challenging conditions at that time.
Well,
You're telling me,
yes, you do.
like when you're getting that angle of the rocket, it's far away, and you see that line of where it's going, but you have to think of the foreground. You're telling me some interesting foreground subjects to really make it a strong, like, fine art level.
Yeah, because it is hard because, like we were talking about, Florida is not the most photogenic place.
Yes.
We don't have a lot of structures or landscapes. So that's where a lot of times, like, I'm doing the same thing you're doing. It's like the Cocoa Beach Pier. It can be a good foreground, or a lifeguard stand can be a good foreground, or a lighthouse can be a good foreground, because those tend to carry the scenes. But you have to think through that and not just go out and go, well, I'm just going to capture a line streaking through the sky.
Exactly.
Or like I think I did the one the other day. It was, it's right here. It's like this is out in Vegas. We were at a place, but then we had the ISS streaking across the sky. Well, I positioned the motel sign here with it pointing towards the ISS. So I don't know if they can bring that up on the screen, but
I remember, I think I saw it last week.
I think I showed it last week.
Yeah.
But yeah, like there. So you've got, but again, going that there's more of a story there than if it was just this section of the sky where it's the ISS streaking across a mountain. Like it just doesn't have that, like there's a story to it. Wow. I mean, that was my story, was motel for astronauts. Right? That's what the ISS is it's a motel for astronauts, right?
And without that motel sign, it's a very flat image. You've added another dimension, so it looks more three-dimensional, and actually it gives it scale.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because then you see, like, that's just a little part of this. That's a big part of the sky, but a little part of the sky as it's streaking across it. So, but yeah, that's what just trying to get that point, because I have noticed in a lot of people's work, that's kind of the first thing that sometimes they miss is, okay, what is my clearly defined subject? So hopefully you learned something out of today's grid. If you did it, you want to continue this, like we have tons of classes over on KelbyOne on all this stuff, like Liesl's class, if you want to get into selling your work, if you want to get into shooting night photography, any of that kind of stuff. If you want to get into landscape photography, portrait photography, I don't care what it is, we probably have a course on it over at KelbyOne.com.
Editing classes to teach you how to make your message stronger, like dodging and burning.
Yep. Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
a big part of this. A big key for it is also the editing. But hey, we got to give away some prizes too.
All
so
right.
we've got a bunch of prizes. So looks like Kirsten Berry is winning the Platypod grip. Lorraine Hyder Taylor is winning the composition book, Crush the Composition book. Bob Bryant is winning the On One No Noise. And then Judy is winning the iPhone. And Nicole is winning the V Flat. So just email us over at gridprize@kelbyone.com if you won. We'll verify your information, and then we'll send you out your prize. Just please try to do that by this Friday. And if they want to know more about you, I know we showed your website,
Yes.
but where else can they go?
Liesl Walsh Photos.com. Liesl Walsh Photos.com. On social media, it's Liesl Walsh Photography.
There we go. So next week, I think we have another guest coming in next week because Scott's still off.
In Antarctica,
He's
freezing
off
cold Antarctica.
In Antarctica, but I'm sure he's going to bring back some amazing images. So we'll see those in not next week, but the week after. And then don't forget, we're kind of in that home stretch, about a month out from the iPhone photography conference. So make sure to check that out if you're into iPhone photography. You don't want to miss that. It's coming up next month. But thanks for stopping by and being on. And
It's a joy to be here.
Yeah.
I love it. Oh, and I look forward to this afternoon. Tell them
Yeah,
what we're doing this afternoon.
Yeah, this afternoon. Well, you guys know we have a VIP program, and we're going to be talking to our VIPs all about selling your work. So that's one of the things
I
that
look
we're
forward
going
to
to
it.
get into. So
a lot of good stuff to tell them about.
And if you ever look at, I think if you go over to KelbyOne.com/VIP, you can get on the wait list if you want to become a VIP member. So
I've heard a lot from, I know a couple of members of the VIP, and they all say how much it has been really making a difference for them.
I'm telling you,
They're enjoying
really,
it too.
I really,
Yeah.
this is it's my favorite thing we do. I mean, I love everything we do.
Yeah.
But I think what it is, I love to be able to invest a little bit more time on one-on-one personal, like I say, and even being able to really explain certain ones of these topics to people when I'm looking at their work, and then you can see where they go, oh yeah, I get now what you're saying, because we can take the time and actually explain it.
And they're motivated to go to the next level and just do something with their photography. So anyway, I just think it's a wonderful program.
Yeah, we love it. We love it. So it's a lot of work, but we love it. So we're going to head over there in just about 2 hours. So
4 o'clock.
yeah,
right?
we'll see you at 4. If you're any of the VIP members, we'll see you at 4. And we'll see you next week here on The Grid.
All right. Nice seeing everybody.